Good morning from Latvia. It is absolutely freezing cold and it is snowing. So we're going to see if I can make a full video without falling over. This city is, upon first inspection, absolutely beautiful and will have some whispers of Soviet history as it is a Baltic state. Let's see what we can find out in this beautiful country of Latvia. So on this very snowy Monday morning, you can see here the Freedom Monument, or affectionately called Milda, here in Riga. It is a monument dedicated to those who died in the Latvian War of Independence between 1918 and 1920, over 100 years ago now. And you can also see, if I just zoom in the camera, you can also see some people standing guard on the monument. And Ethan waving, how professional. Of this important mark of Latvian history. I don't know any historical importance in this area, but just look at the scenery. It is just gorgeous. Beautiful little houses in traditional style with lots of vibrant colours. It's a far cry away from some of the other brutalist architecture that you see here in this city. Just look at that, absolutely beautiful. And then when you turn around, you see there it is, all of the old stuff. Just next to the powder tower here, we can see the crests of many towns and cities across this historic country. The national crest of Latvia at the top, and then just below it you've got Riga and Daugava, to the capital and the second city. And then all of these, some of them look like old rugby crests or something like that. But it's quite interesting to see just how proud they are of their history here. We're just walking around this area of Riga, which is part of the university buildings. I can tell you what, it's certainly a lot prettier than the university I studied at. Riga in the snow in February, or Preston in the rain in February. It's got to be Riga, hasn't it? I mean, just look at that. Frozen river here in Riga. Please do note that this frozen river, despite looking incredibly tempting and a quick way to cross despite the bridge being there, it is actually a €100 fine if you do step on frozen water. It is dangerous, folks. Falling through, it would be absolutely unbelievably nasty. So do be careful around frozen water wherever you are, but do bear in mind, €100 fine and extreme danger. So this is the home of Riga FC, a team that was founded after I was born. It was founded in 2014. They compete in the Latvian First Division. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. And they have played a couple of games in the Champions League. I would assume that would probably be the qualifiers, as I don't remember them in the cup proper. But also, in addition to this, they have made many appearances as well in the Conference League. Look at all that turf that they've got outside. That's absolutely incredible. So yeah, this small club, who knows what they will do going forward, but I've had a look at their player roster. Nobody I've heard of, but still it's good to see that football is being played here in Latvia. So this street in typical Art Nouveau fashion, all of that typical design from America in days gone by. You can even see some cats at the top there that are clearly proposing to each other. How lovely. Opposite Riga's Russian embassy is this medical museum with a well, that's not subtle, is it? So we've come across this statue by a church which has got some sort of significance in terms of look. Ethan, that is over to you.
Oh, apparently it is. So, from a reliable source, I've heard that if you can touch the animal right at the top, then it brings you good luck for the next year. Standing touch to the top, then that's not going to count. So, Yeah. Ben will not get any good luck. Neither
No.
will I.
Do you want to give it a go?
We'll give it a go. From a standing position, that's all I've got.
Yeah, it's about the same for me, I think. So we're looking at that one there.
So no luck.
So no luck. Oh well. This beautiful Orthodox cathedral under the beautiful blue Riga sky is the Cathedral Church of Christ's Nativity. It was made church in 1884, the same year that Derby County was founded. And this one was, during the Soviet Union, a planetarium, but has been restored to the Orthodox Church status following the fall of the Soviet Union. As you can see, it's surrounded by beautiful fields of snow in this cold, cold day. Let's take a look. So this is St Jacob's Cathedral, and the spire, standing at 91 metres, is absolutely huge. It's a lot older than the Orthodox Cathedral we saw some time ago, this one dating back to around 1225. And this one has served as a Catholic church, as a Lutheran church, and also for Swedish Congregational. Let's take a look inside. It's currently a Catholic church. In the shadow of this cathedral is this tiny little building here, which almost looks like it belongs in a Mexican pueblo rather than in the streets of Riga. What a charming little building that is. And yet another cathedral here in Riga. This one is Riga Cathedral, slightly earlier than St Jacob's, and this one was the foundation was laid by Bishop Albert of Riga in 1211. And this one was sort of the main consequent of Latvia becoming a prominently Christian country. I'm just in the cloisters of the Lutheran Cathedral in Latvia. There is some fairly heavy artillery on the floor there. I mean, it's a absolutely massive cannon sometime between the 18th and 19th century. And you will also see that there's that, once again, that beautiful church itself into the very snowy cloister here on this cold day. But there's just so many cannons here. I wonder why. It's obviously not really mentioned anywhere why there is such heavy artillery dotted around these cloisters, but just look at those cannonballs, cannons, and then turn round. Beautiful view. The old town in Riga is, of course, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And this is probably the most famous vista of Riga. You can really see why. I mean, look at the beautiful spire, this beautiful Baltic style of architecture that you would see here, you'd see in Lithuania. It looks like it's got some sort of influence of sort of Germanic styles. And what I must say, if you want to come to Riga in February, pack thermals, because it is absolutely freezing cold. I think it's about -13 today, and honestly, my hand just holding this camera is shaking because of how cold I am. But yeah, the beautiful sights of Riga in the World Heritage Old Town. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
So this is a statue of the Imperial Latvian Army. Now, these were a group of people from the Latvian Army back in World War One who were drafted and eventually forced to go to war against the Germans in World War One to defend this city. Again, 40,000 people back from World War One. You've got that statue to represent them. You've also got this beautiful behind you monument as well, which goes underground, and it ends as soon as you're underground. That representation of that life that has been given up. So, yes.
I mean, it is really a beautiful crawl space, and I mean, you can't necessarily see it very well. It only goes down a couple of levels. Aha, there we go with the torch. So just adjacent to the statue, you will see that there is this area of memorial, talking about the Second World War and the Cold War. Latvia losing 600,000 people, which is 1/4 of its population under the Nazi occupation and then later the Soviet regime for the remaining 50 years. And this area here does show a great commemoration just by that statue that we referenced a few moments ago of this idea of occupation from Nazi Germany and, of course, the Soviet Union later on, talking about lives lost and how devastating these conflicts have been to the people of this beautiful country. Now, this is the riverbanks of the Daugava River, and you can see in this beautiful Latvian evening in February, it is absolutely frozen solid, but if you really put your foot through it, you can see that that ice is not suitable to go standing on. So we won't actually go and see what it's like on the middle of the river. Folks, please do be safe here in the freezing February in the Daugava River.
Wait, where is actually my passport?
Help me up, somebody.
It's like living in winter. I mean, just see. Look at them here. Just throwing snowballs at Ethan. It is truly fantastic. Absolutely great fun. And Ben just trying to get the snow loose. Brilliant. It is, frankly, a bleak morning. The snow is coming down, as you can see. It's falling into my face, and we're just next to the river Daugas, which is covered with snow, coated with ice. It's quite interesting to see a river so wide, completely covered with snow. And obviously there's not a single footprint on there. No birds have been on it, and certainly no people. And since we're also away from the old town, I was actually going to put it in my summary and say we've not seen stuff that looks particularly Soviet, but if you look across the road at this point, you can start to see some of that brutalist architecture here in Riga. So back in 1905 there was a people's demonstration here, and this monument is there to commemorate it. It was against the Tsarist times, and over 70 people lost their lives. They were drowned in this icy river. I can't imagine how horrible that must have been. So back in the day, these 5 warehouses, 4 there, 1 there, used to be Zeppelin hangars, but now it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it houses Europe's largest indoor market, which was opened in 1930. So just to place that is between the end of the First World War and the start of the Second World War. So it's quite interesting to note that they had stopped being Zeppelin hangars before the start of the Second World War. Let's go and check it out. In 1930, when this market was first open, you can just see the sheer size of the place, and also what you can't see is the smell of the place. This was actually presented by city officials to the president of Latvia, and they provided him with a fish breakfast. Obviously, being a Baltic country, fish is quite widely eaten here, and you can see just as we pan to the middle the amount of stalls that there are, which include fish. Trying not to get in the folks' way, but just look at that. It is huge in here. Believe me when I say, folks, this is potent. So quite significantly further away from the old town now, you can see this I wouldn't necessarily call it a skyscraper, but it is one of the taller buildings in Riga, is the Latvian Academy of Science. And I can tell you what, it's certainly a lot more spectacular than the JB Firth labs in Preston where back in the day I used to do bits of chemistry. I mean, imagine operating at the top of that in a lab. That would be truly beautiful, looking across this fine city. Just looking at the lobby of this building, you can see that is a lot more Soviet than many of the buildings in the old town. So we got to the top of this building actually, and all we can see is it's quite similar. Ethan, I spy with my little eye something beginning with S.
Is it snow?
Yes, it is. If we also look down there, you can't necessarily see it very well, but there is a flag waving. It's a red and green flag, and it looks to be the case, you can't quite see it through my camera lens, but it has the hammer and sickle on it. That would indicate to me that is the flag of Pridnestrovia, the only nation in the world currently with the hammer and sickle still on their flag. And you can see this is not into the old town, just the cityscape here in Riga, and also in the very, very distant one of those Satcom TV towers as well. And after doing a full 180, that is the site of Riga you would expect. The river Daugava, with a train coming over the bridge, and those beautiful spires that you associate with Riga here today in this freezing but beautiful Baltic winter's day. So just looking at this freestanding compound here with sort of two houses in it, they certainly look disused. Harrison, your thoughts? What does it evoke?
It evokes, well, maybe there's more to it. Maybe it was a neighbourhood in the past and they'd knocked everything else down. It's just a little bit strange.
It is, and it's not far away from the river either.
No.
So
maybe
it could be a place of importance, couldn't it?
Maybe.
I mean, if you just look around it, you can see certainly a lot more of those brutalist Soviet-style buildings here in this area, because you know the old town was probably quite well protected during the Soviet Union, but this area they could just build and build and build, and the rate at which this stuff went up was just incredibly quick. Over the river from the cathedrals and the beautiful spires, we can see just about these sort of office blocks in this direction here, and one of them is the Sun Tower, which was built around 20 years ago. I think it was 2004, and it is actually the second highest building in the Baltic state. You can't see it particularly well because of the low visibility, but yeah, that is the second tallest building in the Baltic states and the tallest in Latvia. And I'm just coming back to referencing the TV tower. Despite the wind, it is the tallest structure in the European Union. I did just want to check out the interior of this building as well, and this just looks like it's been pinched straight out of the late 1980s in the Soviet Union. I mean, look at that. It's all very traditional. Stumbled across another Orthodox church in the shadow of the Scientific Academy building. It's always worth checking these out, and particularly in Latvia, where there is a mix of Eastern Orthodoxy with its beautiful iconography inside, those wonderful gold laced portraits that you see, the difference between that and the Catholic churches, as well as the Lutheran church, which was inside just exceedingly bland. It's so interesting to see how these cultures mix here in Latvia. Do always respect, if you do go and visit these places, which are always open to visit for the public if there is no services, do go and check them out, but do respect the laws of the land. You'll see I've removed my hat and obviously keep the silence of the place too. And in the shadow of this, I think, communication building, what looks almost like a Brezhnevka, is a very different type of market. See if we can find anything good here, although I seriously doubt it. So in amongst all of this, there is quite a lot of interesting stuff from the days of the Soviet Union. So I would recommend, actually, if you sift through in the right places, you can find some quite interesting stuff. I mean, we're talking like officer documentation, Soviet passports, pin badges, memorabilia, all from the days of the Soviet Union. It is fantastically interesting, despite there being, for want of a better phrase, a lot of rubbish here. Well, my friends, that brings us to the end of Season 2, Episode 2 in Riga. What a delightful, charming city this is, if a little cold at this time of year. So if you do visit during the winter, make sure to pack up warm. I'm currently wearing 5 layers. It's a beautiful city filled with wonderful old school stuff, such as that church there. Soviet buildings from the time spent in the Soviet Union, and it is also a city that is on the move because it's a big port here, access to the Baltic Sea, easy access into shipping lanes all around the world. Come and visit Riga, my friends, absolutely do. Also would mention, go see the Armoury bar because that is fantastic. Couldn't include it in the documentary, unfortunately, but really it truly was fantastic. So don't forget, if you've enjoyed the video, to like, share and subscribe this content around. The next episode will be in Copenhagen, and as always, see you soon.